Krishna. So, devotees, we have a very special speaker today, Her Grace Rasamai LakshmiPriya Mataji. So, it's really an honor to introduce her. She is well known, but just for our own, just for the pleasure of the devotees. So, she is a very humble, kind, wonderful Vaishnavi in our congregation. She does many services, but doesn't show off, doesn't come forward in the background, to name some. So she teaches sloka for our kids, and very nicely, and the kids recite slokas so beautifully because of her teaching. She also does festival coordination services along with Neha Mataji, and one of the biggest festivals of the year, Janmashtami. She plans along with Neha Mataji, and also she does cooking service and many other services. She never says no when you ask for a service. Very surrendered to Guru and Krishna. So wonderful Vaishnavi, and very qualified also. She knows scriptures well, but doesn't show off. Again, that's the very humble nature. So with that, let's welcome Rasamai Mataji by loudly chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra one time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. To you, Mataji.
Thank you, Satsara Prabhu, for giving me this opportunity. Today I'll be speaking about verse 8, chapter 8, 14th verse. I will start with Jai Radhamada. Jai Radhamada Kunja Bihari Jai Radhamada Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Givaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Yashoda Nandana Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Thank you, Samantha. Today I'll be speaking about the verse 8.14.
Let me share my screen.
Yeah. Shall I share?
Yeah, I'm sharing.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you able to see?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ananyacheta satatam yo mam smarati nityashah tasyaham sulabah partha nityayuktasya yoginah. Ananyacheta satatam yo mam smarati nityashah tasyaham sulabah partha nityayuktasya yoginah. Ananyacheta satatam yo mam smarati nityashah tasyaham sulabah partha nityayuktasya yoginah. Any devotees wanted to recite?
I can try, Mataji.
Sure, Prabhu.
Ananyasetaha satatham yo mam smarati nityasha tasyaham surava partha nityayuktasya yoginah.
Anyone else?
अनन्यचेतसा सततं यो मां स्मरति नित्यसः तस्याहं सुलभः पार्था नित्ययुक्तस्य योगिनः.
Thank you, Prabhu.
अनन्यचेतः सततं यो मां स्मरति नित्यसः तस्याहं सुलभपार्थः नित्ययुक्तस्य योगिनः.
Thank you, Mataji.
अनन्या चेतसा सततं यो मां स्मरति नित्यसः तस्याहं सुलभः पार्थ नित्ययुक्तस्य योगिनः.
Thank you, Prabhu.
अनन्यचेता सततं यो मां स्मरति नित्यशः तस्याहं सुलभपार्थ नित्ययुक्तस्य योगिनः.
Thank you, Mataji.
Mataji, one more in temple.
Yes, Prabhu.
अनन्यसेता सतकं यो मां स्मरति नित्येशः तस्याहं सुलभं प्रपर्ता नित्यायुक्तस्य योगिनः.
Thank you, Mataji. And anyone else wanted to recite?
Ananyacheta satatam yo mam smarati nityasah tasyaham sulabha partha nityayuktasya yoginah.
Thank you. And then the word translation, meanings and translation. Ananya chetaha, without deviation of mind. Satatam, always. Yaha, anyone who. Mam, me, Krishna. Smarati, remembers. Nityashaha, regularly. Tasya, to him. Aham, I am. Sulabhaha, very easy to achieve. Partha, O son of Pritha. Nitya, regularly. Yuktasya, engaged. Yoginaha, for the devotee. Translation. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I'm easy to obtain, O son of Pritham, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. I'll just offer my obeisances to the Guru. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam nambiyate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Devataranam. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Jayapataka Swami Tinamani Namacharya Pradaya Vidaya Kripapadaya Gaurakata Ramadaya Navaragamatharani Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desadharni Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This verse particularly talks about the destination, the final destination attained by the unalloyed devotees who do the service to the Supreme Lord in Bhakti Yoga. The word Ananya Cheta means the pure bhakti without deviation of mind. In this state, the devotee desires nothing but Krishna. A pure devotee does not desire like promotion to the heavenly planets so that he can enjoy the material desires, nor he does seek oneness with Brahma Jyoti or liberation from material entanglement. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, such a pure devotee is described as Nishkama, which means he has no desire for the self-interest. So, those do not have the desire for the self-interest, the perfect peace comes to them. Whereas the Karma Yogi, Jnana Yogi, or Hatha Yogis, they have their own self-interest. Whereas a perfect devotee, they don't have any desire other than to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what happens when we strive only for the personal gain is we will not get peace, because this material world is not perfect. We cannot expect any perfectness from that. So therefore, Lord says that for anyone who is unflinchingly devoted to him, it is very easy to attain. A pure devotee is always engaged in the devotional service. And Bhakti Yoga is very simple and it's very pure, and it is very easily available to perform for anyone. Only thing is we have to be in the good association, and we have to think in our heart that we have to start serving Krishna. If we get that motto, Krishna will take the rest of everything. So the simple way to begin the service is by chanting Hare Krishna. In this way, we can analyze, like we can think about Krishna in his personal features. So also it has been clearly told in many slokas that the Lord is merciful to all, but he is specially inclined towards those who always serve him without deviation. A teacher she is equal, or she or he will equally teach to all the kids, but to a kid who is like very disciplined and who is very focused, that kind of kid, the teacher will show more focus, little more attention. The same way, even though Krishna is equal to everyone, he is like more inclined towards the one who serve him constantly without deviation. Also, like one is fully surrendered and engaged in devotional service, they can understand Lord Krishna as a Supreme Lord as he is. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita 10.10 that when one does the devotional service with attention towards the Supreme Lord, he gives the intelligence, like how such an devotee can reach the Supreme Lord and attain him in his spiritual kingdom. The verse is 10.10 is Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te. Translation: to those who are constantly devoted to me, to serving with me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So Krishna is again like stressing here with love. So whatever the service we do, it should be like with love towards Krishna. It's not like someone is giving me a duty, I have to do it. And also it's not for a fame or anything. So whoever does the service with love, Krishna gives the understanding by which we can go back to him. If anyone remains in Krishna consciousness for 24 hours without any deviation, there's a result that he can go to Krishna Loka. And once if we go to Krishna Loka, Krishna says, Mam upetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So Krishna says that I will be removing you from this dukhalayam. We will not get any material life again and again. And those people who realizes that Krishna is a Supreme Lord and engages in the service of the Supreme Lord, they have achieved the highest goal of life. And hence Krishna is saying that them as Mahatmanaha. So what are the special qualification of the pure devotee? Is that he always think of Krishna, work for Krishna, without even considering the time or place or the circumstances. There will be no impediments to him. Only his focus is to do devotional service anywhere and at any time. So I got a video from one of the devotee friends that the devotees were traveling at like 3:55 a.m. and the train got delayed. So they took the advantage of that. They just moved out of the railway station. On the platform, they were doing Mangalarti without hesitation. So this is how a pure devotee thinks. Like he will not, nothing can stop them from doing the service, irrespective of their place or the comfort or the people among them. By doing so, what will happen? This kind of acts will attract the other people who are surrounding to them. It is like we are giving a seed of bhakti to others, which will inspire to take up the path. Maybe first time they will think like, what is this crazy people doing on the road? But still, because of the potency, or because it is Supreme Lord's name, that name gives the feeling that there's something happening here. Let us go first see, and then once they come get connected to that, again they will some or the other temple they'll connect to. So that's why Krishna say, and if we can inspire other people to take bhakti, we are the most mostly Krishna likes us. So it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 19.68 regarding this. Ya idamam paramam guhyam madbhaktesya vidhyasyati bhaktim mai param kritvam mame vaishyata samshayaha. So Krishna says, like, for one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, your devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. So like when we inspire others to take a bhakti path, Krishna will award us with pure devotional service. During the pure devotional service, our heart gets more pure and pure, and eventually we can go back to Godhead. So this verse says the same, like it's like saying two words, Satatam and Nityashaha. Satatam means always, Nityashaha, regularly. So such a devotee, it is not like the devotee will get up early in the morning today and next 30 days he will not do. A devotee is like Satatam, always and regularly. So he constantly remembers Krishna and meditates upon him. So these are the pure qualities of the supreme, of the pure devotee, for whom the Lord is mostly easily attainable. So this bhakti yoga is like engaged in different ways. Yes, Shanta Bhakta, engaged in devotion service in neutrality. Dasya Bhakta, engaged in devotion service as a servant. Sakya Bhakta, engaged as a friend. Vatsalya Bhakta, engaged as a parent. Madhurya Bhakta, engaged as a conjugal lover of the Supreme Lord. So in this way, in different rasas, the devotees will do their devotion service. In any way, in any way they do, whatever they think Krishna as friend or God or whatever, they are constantly engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord. And then they will not even forget, because while doing the service to the Supreme Lord, we will think of the Supreme Lord. So it is very easily available. A pure devotee cannot forget for the Lord for a moment. Since we are serving a Lord with love, Krishna, the Supreme Lord, cannot even forget his pure devotee for a moment. That is a blessing of the our Krishna consciousness. Because when we do chanting for 16 rounds, maybe one or the other time our mind will always focus on him. So we will never forget. Look, so when we are getting hurt, the first word it comes from us is Krishna, because only we are always thinking about Krishna. So in this way, since we are already always engaging in the service, we will never forget anything. So persons who are like, this is a personal form of devotional service. There are people who are interested just becoming liberated, like impersonal, by merging into the spiritual existence. They feel that they are liberated, but according to the Supreme Lord and the scriptures, they're not actually liberated. They're just liberated because from this cycle of birth and death. But after that, there's no guarantee that they cannot stay forever there, and they have to come back to this material world. So because their knowledge is not very pure, they wanted to acquire the knowledge. They know that they got the knowledge that the main problems are birth and death. They just wanted to get out of that. In this, they're not completely pure, because they're not thinking in the aspect of the service to the Supreme Lord. They can rise up to the Supreme platform by their penances, austerities, meditation, but they cannot. So because of that, they can just go to the spiritual effulgence, but they cannot go to the platform of bhakti or without any deviation. There's a motto there: just come out of the cycle of birth and death. And they also not seriously taken this personal feature of the Supreme Lord. So whatever we do, whatever we study, or whatever we understand from this like knowledge or philosophical approaches, without worshipping the Supreme Lord's feet, the result is that the danger of coming down into this material world. We may rise up in this material space, thousands on thousands of feet away from this material world, but still we have to come back to here. Why? Because there's no aspect of service there. And the reason is that we know that we living entities, or we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, Satchidananda. We wanted pleasure. So impersonal features does not give us the pleasure, which is the main demand of ours. So the pleasure is there in the spiritual planets. If we enter in one of the spiritual planets, then the spiritual happiness and exchange of pleasure, what we can attain, whatever the service we are doing, will get purified here, and slowly, and then after going there, we'll continue with more and more pleasure. So therefore, Krishna is saying in this verse, Ananya Cheta Satatam Yomam Smarati Nityashaha. A person without any deviation, without any consideration of jnana yoga or any other process, simply performs devotional service, and this is a surrender process. When surrendering process slowly will get surrendered, we always think that, my Lord, I'm your eternal servant. Please engage me in your service. Engage me in service. So Ananya Cheta, in a very humble manner, and always without any deviation. Ananya means without any deviation, the single pointed focus. Satatam, always 24 hours, always 24 hours a day, without any deviation. That is the Krishna consciousness. So Krishna, so if you do that, what am I getting? So Krishna says, Yomam Smarati Nityasaha, always remembering me. If you are engaged in me, naturally, you will be very, I'll be very fond of you. So for example, if you are engaged in office work, naturally we'll think about office work. How are the things going on? Is it correct? Or even we'll think about office business, which is quite natural, because we are doing something, the thoughts only will come into that kind of thoughts. Similarly, if we engage ourselves in the business of Krishna consciousness, naturally it means we will be always thinking about Krishna. That's why it is said, Yomam Smarati Nityashaha, always remembering me. So, always remembering will not happen just in a day or two. Krishna mentions this. Through your constant practice, only we can do it. So Krishna mentioned in 8.8, Abhyasa yoga yuktenam chetasa nanyagaminam paramam purusham divyam yati parthanu chintayan. The translation: He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Partha, is sure to reach me. In this verse, Krishna stresses the importance of remembering him and how only through abhyasa, through practice, one's memory of Krishna is revived by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. By the practice of chanting and hearing the sound vibration, our ear, tongue, and mind, everything is engaged. So, by that way, when we are easily engaged, Krishna also reciprocates. Sulabhaha, very easily, Krishna, we can reach Krishna. So, examples like in the olden days, for the kings like Krishna, being a driver of a chariot or a messenger, they're considered to be menial jobs. But Krishna took that task, which is due to Arjuna's love and devotion towards him. So he is easily attainable, means he can do anything for us, even it is menial. So when Krishna went like a messenger, another example is Duryodhana invited him for elaborated arrangement for his stay, but he did not accept it because Duryodhana is not surrendered, or Duryodhana did not have any devotion towards Krishna. Whereas he stayed in Vidura's home. See, Duryodhana is a great king. He has a lot of opulences, but again, he was not he was not accepted. He couldn't even invite, he couldn't provide any service to Krishna. Whereas Vidura, he was staying in a small home. He came there and accepted his invitation, because there's no love and devotion in Duryodhana, whereas Vidura has the same love, which is Ananya Cheta. So that's why Krishna has accepted the services of Vidura. So we all know that Lord Krishna is Ajita. Ajita means no one can conquer the God. Krishna has innumerable names, and then Ajita is one of them. His functions are unlimited, his activities are unlimited. But Ajita means the one who is never conquered. No one can conquer him. But we can, Krishna can be conquerable only through our love and devotion towards him. So Brahma mentioned in his prayer to Krishna that he can be conquered by the devotees. It is in Bhagavatam, Canto 10, 14 chapter, 3rd verse. Jnane prayasamudapasya namanta evam jivanti sanmukiratam bhavadiya vartam stane stita shrutigatam tanuvan manobir prayena jitopyajatapyas trilokyam. See, the translation is, those who, even while remaining situated in their established social positions, throw away the process of speculative knowledge and with their body, words, and mind offer all respect to the descriptions of your personality and activities, dedicating their lives to these narrations, which are vibrated by you personally and by your pure devotees, certainly conquer your lordship, although you are otherwise unconquerable by anyone within the 3 worlds. So this verse say, like, only through constant leadership, love and devotion to the Supreme Lord, and we have to give up the speculative knowledge. Instead of that, learn from the scriptures, from the acharyas, Once we do that, Krishna is conquerable. He will reciprocate to us. Giving up the futile endeavor to Krishna with the Supreme, to understand the Supreme by the limited knowledge. If we stop that, like with the limited knowledge, people will think that I will read my own books, I will study myself, I will understand what is absolute truth. It cannot make them to reach the Supreme Lord. You know, we don't know how much is a space, but in order to know the length and breadth, we are sending the satellites. Prabhupada says this as a frog philosophy. So he mentioned in the lecture that a frog is measuring the length and breadth of Atlantic Ocean. We all know the frog's life is within a well. It's 3 feet, and still it is trying to find the length and breadth of Atlantic Ocean and Pacific Ocean. So this is our attempt is like this. We don't know who is the Supreme Lord. Still we don't know the potencies of the Supreme Lord. Still we are thinking to understand him by speculative approach. So we are like frog with our limited knowledge. Brahma in his prayer mentions to Krishna that if one just give up the speculative knowledge and come with you and learn about you and pray you through, then you are easily attainable. So, but since Krishna is recommending here, like if we are not, if you don't want to know the speculative knowledge, like how do we understand? How do we try to understand the Supreme Lord? That is, Krishna says here that we have to understand the Supreme Lord from a reliable source. Means Sat Mukha Hiritam means from the lips of the realized souls. Like Arjuna is directly understanding about God from Krishna, from the lips of Krishna. This is the parampara process. So similarly, if you wanted to understand the God, we have to understand from lips of Arjuna, that is through Bhagavad Gita and his bona fide representatives. So when one submissively tried to understand the transcendental nature of the God from a reliable source, it's so then through our ears, we have to just Shrutigatam, we have to just try to understand through the ears of oral reception, from the ears of a bona fide spiritual master, from he has the bona fide spiritual master, he listens from his gurus. So like that, from our gurus, if we can understand who is Krishna, how can he attain, and how to practice in your practical life. If we do all this, Krishna is obliged to come to us and take us back to his abode. So it is such a nice and easy process. He in Bhagavad Gita it is told, is conquered by a devotee who is giving up the process of understanding by his limited knowledge and becomes submissive. Everywhere it is suggested, try to hear from the right source and then apply in our life. Then we become this conqueror of the Supreme. That's why in the last line it is like tasyaham sulabha partha, I'm easily attained, available. But it is not easy. God is not easily available. He's not available to everyone, but he's available to a person who is constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness. So when Krishna is giving up this assurance, why don't we take this? We can simply start this process by serving, and then I need services at the temple and giving this good fortune to others and chanting. So, and also developing knowledge about the Supreme Lord. So there are two processes in which we can understand the knowledge. Like one is Aroha Panta, that is ascending, and the other one is descending process, Avaroha Panta. Aroha Panta is that I wanted to understand God by own knowledge. I don't care for any authority or books. I'll just read the books, I'll meditate on it, and I can understand what is God. In which the previous sloka, like Brahma was telling that you're not no one can attain you if they are doing by their own mental speculation. So the Aroha Panta, we cannot get anything. Instead, Avaroha Panta means from the authority, getting the knowledge from authority. So out of this process, when we are trying to understand the Supreme by our own limited knowledge, it is very difficult. It's not at all possible. So in Brahma Samhita, also it is mentioned here, like Pantastu koti shatavatsara sampragamyo vayoratapi manasa munipungavanan sopyatyet prabhatasimna vichanta tatvain govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So the translation of this is, I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord. Only the tip of the toes of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by drilling the respiration, or by the jnanis who try to find out non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of mundane, extending over thousands of millions of years. So Muni Pungava means the highest thoughtful, and so a highest thoughtful thinker. If he goes he on his thinking process, if he goes on for millions of years in the speed of mind or air, still God, he cannot find the God. Pantastu koti shatavatsara sampragamya. So he cannot get the complete subject matter. It is inconceivable. So such a difficult task, but Krishna is saying Sulabha Partha with devotional service. So why is Krishna easily available? Because he is like 24 hours a devotee. When devotee is engaged in the service, Krishna also thinks about him, and Krishna cannot forget him. So Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, Saraswati Thakur used to say, like, don't try to see the God. You work in such a way that God will see you. God will take care of you. Don't try to see God. This is the process. So he says that, how can you say I wanted to see God? Oh God, please come and just stand before me. He's not our servant. God is no one's servant. How he cannot come? Instead of that, if we do our service with love, he'll come to see. So we have to oblige him by our love, by our service. If we are doing service, even though we are not doing, if we don't ask also, Krishna will come because he loves that. Anyone who is engaged in such way, in a submissive way, always constantly chanting without any deviation. So God is very easily available, although he is not conquerable by anyone, and not only by the love of the devotees is conquered. So it is very important to consider this process and follow this process of Krishna consciousness, which is very easy. Out of his causeless mercy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this process of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra to the humanity. So since Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given this easy process, which is easily available, we will not consider how value it is. But Rupa Goswami, the first disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, appreciated Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like, you are like great, you are doing a great charity. So this verse he mentioned, like, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaham. So this means that, my dear Lord Chaitanya, you are the most munificent personality, most charitable, the highest charitable person. Why he's highest charitable person? He's giving a great gift of Krishna consciousness very cheaply, irrespective of anyone. Any person can take it up. So that's why, since you are delivering Krishna very cheaply, your charity is uncomparable to anyone. That's why Mahavaranyaya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful that he has given us this very easy process. If we cannot take this process, then there's no other way that anything we can do, because other yogas we were discussing, like Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, those are all, we have to do a lot of efforts, but again, we have to take birth again. So if we can hanker like to Krishna that, oh Krishna, you're the most attractive person. He has all the opulences, the most attractive, most beautiful, most opulent, most powerful, learned and beautiful. We can think about the Krishna's most beautiful form, and Krishna is reservoir of everything. If we can turn our attention to Krishna, a little attention, we will get everything, whatever we want. So by doing the service, our heart will get purified, and it will be fulfilled by fully filled with Krishna consciousness. So maybe the impersonalists, like, they feel that they will merge into effulgence, but the personal worshippers, they'll enter into the planet where Krishna is. That is a benefit. Like we may ask that, okay, now I'm doing Ananya Cheta Satatam, always engaged in Krishna's service, always think about Krishna. What will I get? What will I get? Again and again, in every verse, like Krishna is telling, I will take you to that abode where you will not have any miseries. So the benefit is mentioned after 19.14, 15th verse. It is like, Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gataha. It is like, after attaining me, the great souls, for yogis in devotion, never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. So Krishna himself is mentioning that those are Mahatmanas. Krishna addresses this this material world is a dukkhalayam. He certifies this material world as a dukkhalayam. Means this place is full of miseries and ashashvatam, and this is not permanent. So by taking up this Krishna consciousness, the result is punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam. He does not get any more to come back to this material world and suffer with the full of miseries. And we think that, no, this is material world is not so, it's not dukkhalayam, everything is going perfectly, everything we are enjoying. No, when the Supreme Creator himself certified as dukkhalayam, it cannot be a perfect place to stay. So we are thinking that due to the advancement of science, we are getting so many comforts, everything, but still, where is that? With lot of comforts, no one should die, but everyone is dying. So the death, real dukkha, is like suffering from birth and death, old age and disease. We don't think about death because we are living now. But again, we have seen so many people, so many our grandparents leaving the bodies. So if this is not a dukkhalayam, they have to stay here. They should have alive, mortal, and they can enjoy without any diseases. But it is not happening. So from this, we should understand that we cannot make the solutions for all the problems. It is only in the hands of the Supreme Lord. We we don't think about death because we are not, we are living now, but this is not the fact. Everyone has to undergo this place, undergo this all miseries. Since this temporary world, material world is full of miseries. So Krishna is giving all these ways that how can we be escaped from this dukkhalayam. So he says that whoever during this purification process, we will get the service, and then we will be purified. And once we can go back to Krishna Loka, in which once we go there, we don't wish to return back because we had seen the miseries in the material worlds. So that's why the supreme planet in the Vedic literature is described as Avyakta or Akshara and Paramgati. Means this planet is beyond our material vision, but it is the highest goal. Aksharam means there's no ending for that, which is the destination for the Mahatmas, great souls. So Krishna says that if anyone remains in Krishna consciousness 24 hours a day without deviation, the result is that we go back to him. And if we go back from here to there, we don't even aspire to come back. And there will be no rebirth. So those who are who analyzed this and understood this, they are Mahatmanas. They have achieved the highest goal of the life. So the easiest and simple process is start with hearing, chanting, doing service. And yes, this path is bhakti path is very easy, but to attain the Supreme Lord, there should be a lot of purification required. So during this process, we may get some hurdles, like we may fall down, go up and down, or we do the service very nicely, but whenever we are falling down, if we can reach the authorities, the Siksha Gurus, Diksha Gurus, and then again we can come back to the path. And during this process, we have to have a regularity. And and also, as I mentioned earlier, when a person gets a new devotee into the bhakti path, then we are the dearmost devotees of the Supreme Lord. I wanted to conclude this by saying the important points. In order to attain Krishna, we need to constantly remember him. The constant remembrance of the Supreme Lord comes through only the loving devotional service. So in this way, Krishna is obliged to take the service and reciprocate. What is the reciprocation here is we'll get more and more of the service, in this process we will get lot of purification, and when we get totally purified, then Krishna reciprocates. What is the outcome is we will go back to Godhead. We will just remove, we can just get away from this dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So please take up this process seriously and chant Hare Krishna. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Devotees, please raise your hands who are in online or in temple. If you have any questions or comments or reflections on this class. As usual, don't thank. If you want to thank, you can send personal message.
Prabhuji, I want to add one thing on top of what Mataji already mentioned. This
Sure.
is something that I got from yesterday's class from Nursing. I don't know how many devotees attended that, but for those who have missed, the one important point that came up yesterday, Prabhu mentioned, is that there's a difference between devotion with love and devotion with reverence. So, like Mataji says, devotion with love is the highest form uh, compared to devotion with reverence, because devotion with love, Krishna is obligated to return that. So he is obligated to respond to that love. But devotion with reverence, Krishna is not obligated to respond. So he accepts it, but it is not. He's not obligated to respond. So this is something that I got from yesterday. I just wanted to share it with the devotees who are not able to join from yesterday's Narsingh Chaturdasi celebrations. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for that nice point you brought up. Any other comments or questions or reflections on this?
Hare Krishna Mataji. I think the very nice points you mentioned about the frog, Dr. Frog theory. That is where most of us were, and thank you for bringing up that point, because we all need to rely actually on the the scriptures, Guru, Shastra, and Krishna. So. That was very, very nice, Mataji. Thank you for emphasizing that point. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Radha Damodaran Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, nice point. Like we always try to limit and speculate the God potencies with our limited knowledge. So Prabhupada always mentioned this with the frog philosophy, frog's theory. Thank you, Prabhu. Any other comments, questions, reflections? Prabhu, how much time it is there?
I think we are 11 minutes, Prabhu. We are 11 minutes. We can do a short kirtan.
Okay, Prabhu.
After your thank you note.
Yeah. Okay, if no other questions, then I will give quick thank you note and over back to Satyasara Prabhu. So today's class, thank you Rasamai for emphasizing the take up the devotional service with love and affection, so that Krishna will reciprocate. Krishna have unlimited in all six appliances are full in full. He doesn't require anything but except our love. And Krishna says in many other instances. So that thank you for bringing up that. And once we take up this devotional service with love, Krishna also obliges to reciprocate. And in the same way, we will achieve pure devotional service. Once we achieve the pure devotional service, then we will go back home, back to Godhead. And once we go back to Godhead, we will not wish to come back again here. So that the nice point I like, you mentioned that we will not wish, because we got to know what is the material world, and we did earlier some mistake. Now we won't do it again. And napnuvanti punarjanma dukkalayam asashvatam, we need not come back here. Thank you for that emphasizing on that point. Thanks a lot. It's a wonderful lecture. Thank you all devotees for sharing your reflections and adding comments to it. Over back to Satyasara Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.